Well, hello and welcome back to Module 2 for Gateway Logistics. I'm Greg Barrett, home of the MAGIC programs, where everybody knows that MAGIC stands for Make a Great Impression on the Customer. And if you remember in Module 1, we talked about creating the mindset of excellent customer service. And what are we going to talk about today? Absolutely, you see it on the screen, creating that first impression. I've heard people say you never get a second chance to create that first impression. So when we are interacting with our customers, both internal and external, specifically for Gateway, mostly external, we were going to talk about the aspects of customer service and creating that great first impression. So as always, let's take a look right in the beginning. And we covered these values of Gateway before, but I'm going to ask you, take a look and which ones there stand out in relation to creating a great first impression. Okay, so teamwork, absolutely, people working together. Integrity, doing what you say you're going to do. That whole customer experience, absolutely, and creating that first impression to make that customer experience right in the beginning. Appreciation of others, and at Gateway, we talk about treating things as if it was our own. If we are moving or we are doing something logistically, we're treating those appliances or a household move or whatever it may be as if it was our own. Service above self, relating to creating the first impression, is really, what does our uniform look like? Are we on time? Are we making that first call? Thinking not just about us, but about that customer. So values with Gateway Logistics is critically important to creating that excellent first impression. So I want to have a quiz. Y'all want to do a quiz? Okay. So there are three elements of a message. Or in other words, let me put it this way. Has anybody ever told you that you have an attitude? Yep, definitely me. Absolutely. Maybe in the last 10 minutes or so. So an attitude, or the elements of a message, are three things. They're either the words you use, the tone in which you use it, or the visual cue, right? So an attitude could be a tone, something you say, or looking away, or putting your hand up. And when we're creating a first impression, it's super important. So I'm going to ask you, in your mind's eye, or if you want to write something down, what is the emphasis? Is it on words, tone, or visual in a face-to-face? Go ahead and take a guess. All right, everybody got something? All right, should add up to about 100%. Doesn't have to, right? Not a math quiz. Let's take a look at the answers. So 7% emphasis on words. And what do y'all have for tone? So we see 38%, and if you're doing the math, 55%. So what's the takeaway of creating a very good impression initially? It is on that visual. It is you getting out of the truck. It is that first good morning, good afternoon. It's using the customer's names. It's things like that that create that first impression. All of it's important, absolutely. But initially, it's that visual, the condition of your trucks, the condition of your equipment, the fact that you put those little booties on your shoes before you enter a premise. Now, many times you have to talk to the customer either pre or post one of your trips. So which one in this quiz goes away? Absolutely, right? So the visual goes away, the highest number in a face-to-face. So take a guess again and see what you have. It's going to be words and tone, and let's see what you got. We have 14% for tone, and look at this, 14% for words, 86 for tone. So what creates that initial impression for the customer in a phone call is all about that tone. Doesn't mean that you can get away with words that may not be appropriate, right? But it's all about that tone. So these are the elements that create that first impression, the words, the tone, and the visual. Okay, I got another quiz. You want another quiz? We got one, all right? So in this case, I'm going to ask you, why do customers quit buying? Now, this is not specific to Gateway. This is a generic thing, and I'm going to give you the categories here. One is there's a relationship with a salesperson. So they go somewhere else because they have a relationship with that salesperson. Maybe they move to a different location. Price. I'm guessing it's too high. Most people don't leave because it's too low. Product dissatisfaction. It didn't do what he or she said it was going to do. An attitude of indifference, some type of attitude. and then other. And I gave you the 3% on the other. So let's do the same drill and go ahead percentage-wise and take a guess about up to 100%. Okay, y'all got something there? So let's take a look at our survey results. 4% on the relationship with somebody else or a salesperson, 11% on price. Maybe that shocks you a little bit, okay? Product dissatisfaction comes in at 14%, and we know 3% is others, so if we're doing the math, which I'm not real good at, the attitude of indifference. Now, I realize this is going to vary with product to product. If I'm buying maybe a house, I'm definitely really focused on price. If I am buying a disposable razor or a pen, maybe not so much. So I know it varies, but in general, it's an attitude of indifference. It is a tone or the words or the visual that you don't care whatsoever. That the customer's opinion and the way they interact, you've got an attitude of, I don't care, you're bugging me. All right. Now, you probably had that happen sometimes in your experience, but what I'd like to do in this next one is play an audio for you. So I want you to listen to the words and the tone, because there's no visual, of do you hear an attitude of indifference? So let's go ahead and listen to that.
Service.
Yeah, who am I speaking with?
This is Wally, service manager. May I help you?
Yeah, well, my name is George Barrett. I was just in there. I picked up my car. I was in for an oil change, and when I dropped it off, I don't think I spoke with you, but somebody else. I said my right rear turn signal was out, and the gentleman said that would be repaired and all that. And when I came in, I was a little bit of a hurry, so he said your car's outside. I got home and I checked it, and the turn signal's still out.
Okay. All right. Well, so what do you want to bring it back in and we'll take a look at it? When do you want to come in?
Well, I did first off, did anybody even look at it? Was it repaired? I don't.
I'd have to talk to the technician, and right now they're on break. Not able to do that. Do you want to call back?
I mean, I guess I can call back, but I mean, I'm going to have to drive all the way back there, and I'm just in fear that this same problem is going to happen again. I mean, I don't know if they fixed it, and I don't know whether it was never fixed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. These things happen once in a while. Well, just
okay.
let me know what you want to do. If you want to call back, I could talk to the technician. You want to call back in like an hour, or you can come in. So it's totally up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll call back because I really want to know what happened and what's going to happen, rather than.
All right, the phone's ringing. My other phone's ringing. Can you hold on just 1 second? Thanks.
I'll just call back. Never mind. I'll just call back.
All right. All right.
Okay, what did you hear? All right, you heard they're on break. I can't really go talk to people. These things happen, the technician said. Who did you talk to? I have to look it up. And then you heard the customer basically saying, was it even looked at? What's going on? And you've got this attitude of indifference, like they're bothering you. You're paying them, and the person's attitude is, it's not my problem. I'll look into that. Do you want to call back? And then the phone rings, and they say, I got to take the other call. So we see clearly in here, there's an attitude of indifference. And when we do that, that creates a very negative impression on the customer. So the attitude of indifference, that words and tone in that phone call, is critical. And you heard that it was absent in that particular example. Okay. What we really want to end with here, when we talk about after the words, the tone, the visual, is that every single stop is your most important stop of the day. Even though you may not feel like that, it's a hot day, you were stuck in traffic, it's the last call, but to that customer, it is the first. It's your opportunity to create a great impression on the customer and to build that brand with Gateway. So I hope you enjoyed this particular program. We've talked about creating first impressions. Look forward to seeing you in Module 3. Have a great day.